You want a snack? Come on, let's get a snack. Ted, you want to say goodbye to the house? You want to say bye? Ted and I are going to spend the night with some family. Say good night and goodbye. It's been fun. We moved out of our apartment last night, all of our stuff. Jeff stayed behind to finish cleaning. So Ted and I came here last night at like 10 p.m. And yeah, he spent his first night not at home. And he did a lot better than I was expecting. He did cry the entire 20-minute ride here. We made it. We're gonna go inside now, okay? We're gonna settle in and we're gonna go to bed, okay? And then once we got here for, I don't know, maybe an hour, he was a little restless just because, you know, it's somewhere new. But yeah, he was already making himself comfortable by the time we went to bed. Like, his tail was up, he was curious, he was looking around the house. Last night when we did finally go to bed at like, I don't know, maybe midnight, he was playing around with stuff and climbing on stuff, and then I heard rustling in my bag and he had gotten into a bag of treats. You're doing good, huh? Yeah. So here's our little setup. We have this bed. And then got his food and his water. And then his litter box, a scratcher, some of his toys, his favorite bag. And then, yeah, some of our stuff here, some of our stuff here, his carrier, a luggage, my bag. So not a lot of room, huh? But we'll make it work. I'm trying to make the transition as easy as possible, which is why I brought a lot of his stuff from home. But yeah, this litter box, when we leave, will get tossed out. Same as these. We can't take any of that stuff with us, but I figure, at least for our first transitionary place, he can have something, you know, that's similar to home. We are done at the vet. Everything went well. His exam went great. He got a nail trimming, which he hated. He also got a flea treatment, and we're all paid, and we are ready to go tomorrow. I know, bud, you want to go home and take a nap. It is just past 11:30 on our final night, hanging out with our family in California. Tomorrow at noon, we fly out of Orange County, and we have a layover in Houston. And then we'll be in Pensacola for the first big leg of our journey. Say goodnight, vlog. We'll see you tomorrow. Hi, it is 5:45, the morning of April 27th. This will be Ted's very first flight ever, and my first experience with flying a pet ever. So this will be interesting. This flight is part 1 of our 3-part Move International. Yesterday, I took Ted to the veterinarian to get his health certificates so he can fly today. He needed a domestic travel health certificate as well as a copy of his rabies vaccinations. While we were at the vet, we also had to get 2 international health certificates. And I will go into more detail as to why we needed 2 of them in a later video. But those health certificates, they take 3 to 5 business days in order to process. While we wait for those certificates, we're going to be staying with my parents in Florida. I'm not really nervous about flying with Ted. I've done all of the proper research that I need to in terms of what documents I need, what to expect when checking in, all the fees. TSA. I was a little nervous about that at first, but Ted is harness trained and we're flying out of a small airport, and so I'm not too stressed about TSA. I also have TSA pre-check. I have also heard that you can request a private room for going through security with a pet, but I don't think I'm gonna need to do it. I don't know, I'm gonna play it by ear. Yesterday was our trial run with some anxiety medication that his vet prescribed to him. It's called gabapentin. And I gave it to him at 8 a.m. yesterday, and his vet appointment was at 10 a.m. And our vet wanted me to give it to him 2 hours before our appointment, so that way when she saw him, she could see how he was reacting to it. And while he was at the vet, he was chill. However, I will say that 4 hours into him having this anxiety medication in his system, he reached the peak of what I can only describe as being high, stoned out of his mind. Literally, when I picked him up, he just flopped down like a stuffed animal. I actually ended up calling the vet and asking if this was normal. They assured me and said it was okay, it was perfectly normal, but I think I'm gonna give him less today. But yeah, I'm not really nervous about check-in. I'm not really nervous about TSA. My only concern and the only reason I'm really nervous is I'm worried about getting seated next to a person who isn't going to be okay with flying with a cat. You know, someone who's going to raise a stink. So as long as I'm sitting next to someone who's chill and is understanding, I don't foresee any issues popping up with today. So Ted and I, he's there in the window. It's just gonna be us flying today. So my husband flew early to set up our new place, so the transition for Ted is a lot easier. Also, he works remotely, and so he needed to work and stuff, and so he needed to get there as soon as he possibly could to set up Wi-Fi and all that kind of stuff. Another reason why I'm going to be flying solo with Ted and why we didn't fly with him is because of health certificates that Ted needs. So aside from the domestic health certificate that I got, I also got 2 international health certificates. And those take 3 to 5 business days to process. Those got submitted electronically from our veterinarian, and then they have to get approved by the USDA, and then they will mail them to Florida at my parents' house. So we've been staying with some of Jeff's family, but I definitely want to see some of my family before we go. If you're wondering why I'm getting 2 international health certificates, that is going to be explained in a future video. So make sure you subscribe if you're interested in more travel content regarding traveling with a cat. I'm definitely going to be doing more videos because this whole entire process has been a lot more complicated than I thought it was going to be. And a lot of the research that I did myself, I felt like there was plenty of information about flying with dogs, but not enough information about flying with cats. And so I want to make videos like this one to provide information for other cat owners. Of course, you know, always do your own research because rules and regulations can change, but I do hope that this video can be, you know, a resource for anyone who's thinking about traveling with a cat. Hi! You ready for your adventure? Since we've been staying with Jeff's family, Ted has met a dog for the first time. Go say hi. Wanna say hi? She's wagging her tail. When he first got here, she was very, 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 very excited. She's still pretty excited every time she sees him. And at first he would run away from her, frightened, but now he tolerates her. He lets her sniff his butt. Ted also met a toddler for the first time. Come here. Do you want to go out? Gentle, 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 gentle. It is 7 p.m. right now. We have an hour before we need to head on out. I just gave Ted his anxiety medication, so I only gave him 3/4 of the pill. So this is a powder. I can just pop the pill open and then sprinkle the powder. And I give it to him using a treat. So he is a crackhead for these Delectables squeeze ups. So I squeeze a little bit of the treat, put the powder, mix it, and then put a little bit of the squeeze on top of it, and then he just slurps it up. If you're going with this method, don't make the treat something that they have all the time, because they might not eat all of it. You know, they might sense that there's a difference in the taste because there's medication in it now, and they might not want to eat it. So these are what I use. Does that smell nice? So this is Ted's carrier. And I've got a blanket in there, which is one of his comfort blankets, has, you know, the smell of home. I bought it off Amazon. It's ventilated on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. I've read that when you're flying domestically, it just needs to be ventilated on 3 sides, but since we're going to end up flying international, they say you can't use a carrier unless it's ventilated on 4 sides. So I just went and got this one. And it's also collapsible, which is great for storage. And I'll leave a link to it in the description box, but yeah, it's just a simple carrier that I bought off of Amazon. And then it has this little pocket over here. I bought 2 little travel, you know, things for food and water. And then I have his treats, which he's probably not going to want to eat. When he's stressed out, he doesn't like to eat. And then I also have some wet wipes in here in case he has a little accident. What I like about this carrier is that it has these little clips and stuff, because Ted likes to try and make a break. He likes to try and escape. So these will prevent him from trying to get his carrier open. I'm also going to put his leashes in the pocket over here so I have easy access to them. It is 8:15 and we are heading to the airport. Well, we're going to go drop off the rental car first and then we're going to go to the airport. Ted is buckled in. I have his travel documents right there. We've got our luggages. Yes, we are ready. Let's go. We made it through security. I had to check him in. I had to pay for our second check-in bag. Security was an absolute nightmare. For some reason my TSA pre-check number wasn't attached to my ticket, and so I had to take all my electronics out. I had to take my shoes off. I had to take Ted out of his bag. I had to carry him. I had to hold him for 10 minutes while I waited for my turn to go through the security line, and he was crying and he was scared. And then once they scanned my bag, they had to re-scan it because there's cat litter in it. So I got dinged for that, and they had to open my bag and then check the cat litter to make sure it didn't have any chemicals and stuff in it. They had to scan my hands, like, I don't know, they put something on my hands, I don't know, to make sure I don't have any chemicals and stuff, all while I'm holding him. So this was like a 20-minute ordeal, and it was an absolute nightmare. But now we're sitting, getting some lunch. Also, when we went to the counter to check in, they didn't ask for his health certificate. Same thing with TSA. So far, no one has asked us for his health certificate. So here's the little ticket that they give you when you check your pet in. And yeah, it's just attached to your bag. We are in the single occupant family restroom. I tried to take him to the pet relief area, but you have to go through some doors and it's outside, and really don't want him outside because it's kind of warm today. So we're in this restroom. Ted. It's okay, just stretch your legs for a little bit, okay? And you can go hide in your bag, okay? All right, we'd much rather stay in our bag, huh? Okay, that's okay. Houston. He cried the entire time. I had an excruciating migraine that caused my left arm to go numb. My arm is still kind of numb. My fingertips are numb. My lips are numb and my tongue is numb. So that's probably not great. So we're not feeling the best right now. I'm in another family bathroom and I wanted to let him out of his carrier, but he's just too frightened. He doesn't want to get out. So thankfully we were sitting next to a couple of dudes who were pretty chill, and they didn't care that he was crying. Also, there were some children that were sitting directly behind us who were way louder than any of Ted's cries. So I think we got pretty fortunate. The plane was absolutely packed. It's really weird that no one's wearing masks on planes anymore. That was something to get used to. Someone just tried to get into the bathroom, so I think that's our cue to leave. All right, we gotta go to our gate. We're in C terminal right now. We gotta go to E. We made it. We are currently staying in my brother's room. So there's our suitcases. Here's our bed. He already was exploring the rest of the house, but it's time for bed. It's late, so yes, it's time to go to bed. Yes, let's go to bed. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.